Hi everybody, Lynne Forsythe here, and I just thought I'd create a video today to share with you something that I made over the weekend. I had the opportunity to be a part of an amazing scrapbook event that goes on at the Beacon in Lincoln, New Hampshire, and something that was on my table, which is this tray right here, became the topic of a lot of conversation. And everybody's like, what are those? What are those? Well, for those who don't know, these are Twinkling H2O. They're a hard cake. They're very much like a watercolor. They're hard cake. But the difference between these and just plain old watercolors is they have shimmery, yummy mica in them. So basically what you do is you just spritz your little pots with some water, and I just kind of let them set aside for a little bit to get that water just kind of saturating in there. So this is kind of what came out of that. Was there were people that wanted to see how these worked, so I was kind of demoing this product. So basically the way that we started was I took a piece of painted paper, which is put out by Splash of Color, formerly known as Creative Imaginations. So then I'm going to cut two pieces at 5 1/4 inches. Okay, and there's a reason for this. Basically, the card faces, my cards are 5 1/2 inches by 8 1/2 inches. So when it folds, this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I will be able to cut 3 4-inch pieces out of here. But I need this extra strip of paper right here because that's how I made this flower right here. First thing we're going to do, because if we get this paper wet, this isn't going to stick, is I'm going to take some tissue tape, Tim Holtz tissue tape, and I'm just going to randomly stick this down on here. And I have a couple different ones, and sadly, I'm sorry, I have absolutely no idea what collections these come out of. And remember, you're going to get 3 out of here, so kind of be thinking along those lines, because we're going to cut this up. Okay, so now we have those all stuck down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spritz this painted paper. Now, I don't know if you can see on here, but see where the shine is? There is a finish on here. So just spritz this with water. So I'm just going to dip it in, and I want these good and watery, so I may have to go back and just wet them again. I don't want it to be too thick. And then I'm just going to paint on the painted paper. Now, for you people who can't stand it, yes, I am just going from color to color. Sorry, it's kind of the messy Bessie that I am. And I keep kind of dipping my paintbrush in water so that these are all good and working around in here. I'm just going to put a little bit more water on here so that I can get some of these colors just moving around a little bit more. Oh, this Love Struck is just so yummy. I want to make sure that I kind of have some in here, because we're going to cut somewhere right around in here. And I'm just putting color on color. Oops. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. We got some pretty wild colors going here. And now I'm just going to dry this. Okay, so the beauty of this is, as you can see, I've done both of my pieces, and no background is going to be the same, and I absolutely love it. I also did my strip with some of the twinks, and then I just cut off the excess tissue tape on here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut these into 4-inch pieces. All right, so I have all of my pieces here, and here you can see every single background is different, and isn't that just so amazing? So now I'm going to take my Distress It All, and I am going to just chowder up the edges, and see you get this amazing chowdered background. So we're going to cut our card. Five and a half inches. My 8.5 inches. Fold it in half. I'm also going to distress the edges of this with my Distress It All. And you do have to be careful when you do your back edge, because if you do it too hard, you will go through. So here you see how that fits right on the front of the card. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? So I'm going to just adhere this to my card. All right, then what I did was I took some corrugated cardboard. This is by Canvas Corp. And also some Deco Mesh. Now, Deco Mesh is a very way cool product. It comes in a roll, and it's just this beautiful mesh. But the thing is if you don't put something on it, it will literally just fall apart. So what I do is I take multi-medium, and I just run it over top, and what that does is it adds just enough adhesive to the Deco Mesh that it will hold it together so that you can cut this tattered floral. Now if I hadn't, and when I crumpled it like this, which of course I have to crumple everything, this would have totally fallen apart. Instead, we only get a little bit of movement, and so there we end up with that beautiful flower. So now what I'm going to do is I have the corrugated, the flute, or the corrugated cardboard, and what I'm going to do is these are Inka Gold metallic rubs. You can use them just in their cake way that they are, or you can spritz them with water and create a paint. So then I am going to paint this onto my corrugated tattered floral. And see how pretty that is going to be up against there. Oh yeah, that works just fabulous. Spray this with a little bit of water. Clean it off. We'll put those aside. So now what I'm going to do, surprise, can anybody guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this and I'm going to crumple this up in my hand. And with the leftover that I have on here, I can actually kind of go around on my card if I wanted to. Kind of hit those edges. I didn't do this on the other ones. I just got this wild idea to do it here. So there you go. Oh yeah. Okay. So now we have our crumpled, corrugated, tattered floral flower. Just gonna go here. And then we have our Deco Mesh flower. And then we've got to create a center flower. I just kind of drew out a 5-petal flower onto the back, and I'll just fold that a couple times. And with my handy dandy Tim Holt scissors here that'll cut through steel. I love these things. They will literally cut through most anything. Okay, we're going to cut out this flower. And I'm not even necessarily staying with the lines because I'm kind of noticing that maybe I didn't like how that petal actually looked. So I'm kind of modifying it as I go. And there you have it. Oh, well, I guess we're not going to use that one because I just ripped the petal off of it. Take our little scissors because the Distress It All won't work on this, and we're just going to kind of tear up these edges of the flower. And that's going to go right in the center there. Then I have this really, really pretty mini daisy that I'm going to place in the center. What would be a creation of mine without at least 1 or 2 loopy bows, right? So we're just going to take a little bit of this twink here, put it on my craft mat, spritz it with a little water, and then we're just going to dip that. So maybe we need a little bit more. I'm going to just kind of enjoy the fact that I don't have it entirely covered and that we have some white sections in here. And then we're going to dry that. First, we got to make our loopy bow. This is quite long, quite a long piece, so I'm just going to double it over. Might not work that way. As I'm looking at this, I'm like thinking, wow, what beautiful Easter cards to make, and how quick. And you could make a whole bunch of them all at once. Okay, so there is my little green loopy bow, which of course needs a piece of jute, because life would just not be complete without a piece of jute in there. This is Canvas Corp jute. So we're going to tuck that up underneath there. And I think we need a little bit of netting. All right, so I'm going to cut a strip of that. And I'm just going to tie a knot in it. Okay, and then we're just going to tuck this in here too. I think the netting should go under the jute. Okay, so look at that. Oh my gosh, how pretty is that? And there you have your card. What I did was I just took a piece of craft paper, which you can use. You've got the leftover here somewhere. All right, a leftover piece that I had cut from the card. Happy spring on this one. Here you go, happy spring. And then just as a little bit of added extra, I'm going to take my fan brush and dip it into the Inka Gold, and I'm doing the purple here. And I'm just going to take that and run that right around the edges just to kind of highlight my verbiage. And if you get thumbprints or fingerprints on your verbiage, that's okay too. It's just all part of the messy mess. Okay, so we'll dry those. Little dabble do ya right here on the back. Happy. Spring. And there you have a one-of-a-kind, beautiful card. Hope you've enjoyed my little tutorial today. And go be creative and have a fabulous day.